go ahead and record on here. All right. Cool, we are here. Gonna take it away?
Well, gentlemen, this is your first horror Hound.
It is. And
it's lit, isn't it? There's a lot of stuff going on, isn't it?
It is. It's a lot of good stuff. My personal first experience, of course, I've seen all type of conventions. I've been to many conventions, so I kind of knew what to expect. But blending both worlds together of a film festival and a horror convention is brilliant, you know. And I believe it's no shock to me that it is doing the numbers that it's doing today, because it's just that type of a genre.
Yeah, a lot of folks, you know, on this side of it, you get these gateway actors and actresses, these cosplayers. That they're really, a lot of folks want to get into the business that we're into.
Yeah.
And we're really kind of connecting the dots and kind of gluing stuff together. They're saying, okay, this is attainable. Filmmaking is a craft. You know, it's something that I can do. There's things there.
Yep.
You know, but there's a lot more interest. And when we see conventions like this, it's easier to have that conversation. Really, you spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars and hours on putting together this costume for this movie that you are a fanatic about.
Yeah.
You could do that for your original content, for your original stuff there, and that's
right.
Something that's kind of neat. We've got a lot of great workshops that we've got all weekend here. Right now downstairs, we're doing the costuming for stage and screen workshop. We've had set safety, we've had screenwriting, we've had Nick Hearn-Sutton did the IATSE Union and Steadicam operating workshop on Friday, and there's going to be a lot more to come in the fall, including we're going to have a special workshop, Lighting for Horror, that'll be in our fall convention.
Ooh.
Lighting for Horror.
Who's doing that? Do you guys have that already in the...
Jeff Barklage is going to come in. We are going to get... We are really trying to glue everybody together and trying to get folks out there. And twice a year, this is a good setting to show people that these are the members of the people in your backyard. This is the film community and stuff like that. What kind of stuff have you seen that you enjoyed so far, Bernard or Lavelle? What kind of things have you enjoyed?
Go ahead, talk, Lavelle.
What kind of things have I done? So sorry.
Yeah, because we've been doing script reads for, but we got one here in about an hour. If you want to come on back down and do some reading for me.
Yeah, gotcha. So, what kind of? So, my bad. Can you repeat the question again?
Well, you've seen a lot of stuff. Is there any films or anything that you've wandered through here now this weekend? That you've enjoyed?
Yeah, so I've enjoyed the script readings that was going on Friday. Also, I went to the panel for Terrifier here on Friday as well. So that was that was like really interesting as well. But yeah, as far as like from that aspect, that's mainly we've been doing the podcast, is interviewing different people. Yeah. But outside of that, that's probably as much as I and then also gotten to interview some of the filmmakers here as well. So
yeah, we've been over 100 filmmakers from around the globe, and then of course Woke in the Backyard. We had a couple screenings last night and yesterday. There were local filmmakers. We had Haunted House of Pancakes, was a locally made film.
Yeah.
We had Sean in Concept Media made Mr. Buzzkill. Was an 11 o'clock. That's what I was going when I said I was going to be over there, and I figured you guys probably were pretty much beat after yesterday.
Man,
you had the air out of the tires going there. Yeah.
Rolling on 4 flats.
Yeah, we were over there, and you had the combination of a sort of a slasher chainsaw massacre movie, or watch the lead singers of Slipknot do an acoustic set that you never see anywhere else.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different notes of creativity that have brought people here. But you know,
but I would also say one of the biggest draws, I believe, for a lot of folk would be the floor, like the exhibition floor. Like we walked that floor a few times. We walked around, looked at all the different booths and attractions and stuff, and that was really impressive to see all of what they had to offer, like from VHS tapes to to classic collectibles.
I have seen many things that I have thrown away at a yard sale that I wish I would have kept. You know, it's
right.
The physical media is certainly back, and it's certainly back in this, and people buy the physical media. A lot of the vendors they're selling out of stuff that you would not think, because people have been looking for things like that for years.
Yeah.
And a lot of local creators that we have down here. I know the 3 or 4 production companies that bring their physical media and their remakes of their props and stuff. They treat this like, you know, Cincinnati, you know, there was a summer fair at Coney Island where they had the arts and crafts vendors and stuff. For this genre, it's almost like summer fair, where they're saying, oh, this is something that I can't get anywhere else.
Yep.
So
I'm going to put this in a stocking stuffer.
Do you really
later.
believe physical media is back, or you think this is a good spot for people that's interested in physical media, specifically for the horror genre?
Well,
do you think?
Well, here's the thing. Okay, so we are in a nation right now of Comic-Cons, horror expos, conventions, and things like that. We are always in this thing where people buy nostalgia. So if there's ever a nostalgic thing, not saying that, you know, the VHS tape of Ghostbusters is going to be at the Antique Mall in Florence.
Right.
But, you know, the way the general public operates is on nostalgia. So if you're going to a convention on nostalgia, the physical media is back. When it comes to filmmaking, we really have to kind of bite the bullet and say that the ease of getting the information and the movie is going to be the best way. We're going to have to. Should you still make physical media? Absolutely. You know, that's a separate revenue stream. You can have contracts with distributions that are just on the streaming.
Yeah.
You can keep your physical media.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's a way as a filmmaker to be able to go to a convention and be able to have it. You see that the actors, the A-list actors, you know, they're taking an old playbook from the old Star Trek conventions. And we just keep redoing this over and over again. And they know that there are certain things that they can do with physical media, screenshots from the movies, that they have the rights to use of their likeness, and they're able to sell these things and actually make an income here.
Yeah.
The same is true with the regular filmmaker in a convention setting. They're going to be able to have their stuff on a streaming platform. If they set up their right contract with distribution, they're going to be able to maintain their rights, have another revenue stream, and be able to do that. You know, and thankfully they're doing that in Ohio. Because the people coming from California doing that are doing that to pay for their property taxes in their home that they bought 50 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, that's why they stay on the convention circuit. That's a real reason why you see a bunch of old actors and producers on the convention circuit. But it also shows that, you know, their performances have value. And we're in the horror genre, at least here, in the convention, have gotten a lot of our convention actors jobs around Cincinnati in independent films.
Yeah.
You know, the people we haven't seen for years, and that's kind of what we intend to do. You know, they're looking for work. You know, and that's the magical thing I think about Horror Hound, is that it's a normal Comic-Con convention or a celebrity convention.
Yep.
You know, you would have this side and that side. What we try to do is glue them together. So you've got filmmakers that are talking with A-list actors and saying, hey, I've got this project. I know you are interested in this issue. It may be an issue-based film. Can I talk to you after the convention? And I've seen those relationships happen organically, and it's really nice by putting them all in the same room together, because they're working artists. We're all working artists, you know, just trying to grow. So yeah, it's kind of neat. So yeah, physical media is still there. It has its place.
Yep.
It has its place, but it's a lot easier for somebody to be able to stream something all around the world.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, if you're trying to get a global audience. But being able to also physically give something to them in a convention setting, there's a level of intimacy and appreciation of the artist, kind of like that whole summer fair, getting your jewelry and your earrings, you know, that were handmade by, you know, your friend that's there. That's that kind of feeling too. So it's a good sense of community.
Yeah.
It builds community.
Yeah,
being able
it
to
is.
have that.
That's something you should do as jumper guy. I think that could probably be a lane for you. Like maybe, you know, put jumper guy on some
like
VHS tapes, or put them on some DVDs.
It's a possibility.
And then make some merch for it, and get you a vendor booth and say, hey, like, this is my film, Jumper Guy.
Right.
You already got the screen right there. But, you know, just have it. And have some headphones right there. Have people view maybe like the first 2 minutes, and say, hey, come support me.
Right. Yeah. And I think that it's
That's an avenue for it.
It's something. It's something I would say for myself to consider, because it's like, we all are, filmmakers and stuff, and I think it's, for me, it's like it's more of a game trying to figure out. I got all my pieces, like Jumper Guy's a piece, doing, let's say I'm throwing out there, Table Reads is a piece. This all these pieces, but they all have to be played at certain points. And sometimes it's simultaneously. So it's like, yes, Jumper Guy could be definitely something that could be, I ain't gonna say a franchise, but a fully fleshed out idea.
Yeah.
You're not the only person that has asked me about that. I've had 2 other people who was like, what are you doing with Jumper Guy?
No, I'm saying as now, like as a short right now.
As a short right now?
Right now, you can do it right now. Everything's set up for you to do it. You just got to do it
Yeah,
right
but
now.
I feel like, I ain't gonna say it's double dipping. Focus them more on just the whole podcast aspect, on just trying to
That's just another
establish that.
revenue stream. If you do it, I don't know. If you do it, I want my commission. I want my commission check. I want something.
You want commission for what?
Well, at least we're getting to the
For
root
giving
of the
you the
reason of the
idea.
conversation
Oh
now.
man,
The reason of the conversation.
do it. Nah, I'm fine on that. I'm
got
cool
you.
on that. Yeah. Not that it's a bad idea. It's just a time and place for me personally. I'm playing chess out here. I'm just trying to look at the lay of the land and seeing how I can work it.
The good part is, gentlemen, is we are the first people to the party. If we want to look at it like the way Atlanta was about, I would say early 2000s, we're very, very close to being now about 5 years off to a lot of things blowing up. This is a pretty good example.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Of really, having film and media really blow up and have appreciation to that. So
Right.
when you're the first one at the table at Thanksgiving, you can carve the turkey the way you want to.
Yes.
You can
Yes.
make the decision what side you want to bring.
Right.
And it's a unique place to be in.
It is.
And you can certainly set the narrative or set the tone on what excellence is in filmmaking.
Yeah.
And this is a perfect example at a convention when you have a lot of young people that are, doing their YouTube channels, doing stuff from their parents' houses, and we got an entire generation of content creators.
Yeah.
Getting them to look at things, take this media seriously, whether from a commercial standpoint or from a feature, to be able to, really come up with something that they're proud of, and having that in front of them, it'll go less said, I heard your voice on this cartoon, and more of, oh, these are the tools that I could look into. This could be a real job.
Yeah.
This is not just going to be like going to the Ice Capades, or going to Kings Island, or going to these other things, So they can go to these things with intention, and not just fangirling and fanboying out on
Right.
the celebs, that are there. Although that is a draw. There is a tremendous draw.
Oh
there.
yeah, huge draw.
And the same thing that they're looking at that is actually making them money in that convention circuit is some of the similar things that that larger podcasters end up doing. That if given a franchise that takes off, any one of us would do.
Yeah.
It just makes good business sense. If people keep buying your product, you're going to keep running around with that product. And
Yep.
for some of them, it's been for the last 20, 30, 40, 50 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this question. You've been part of this community for quite some time now. Tell me, based on the numbers that you're seeing, the amount of people, the foot traffic, seeing the concert from last night, how are things stacking up for the future of Horror Hound with the growth? Do we have the infrastructure to continue to stay here, or do you see that we're going to have to grow and expand and find a bigger infrastructure?
Well, I can't answer that question. Nathan would have the numbers that says,
I want your opinion, but I mean, yes.
my opinion
Yes.
is my opinion is that.
What do you see?
My opinion is that right now, at least from the film side of it, and I'm sure that the volunteers and stuff have seen, usually our October film side, maybe because of Halloween and stuff, we usually see more numbers than in March. This year, we've seen more people in screening rooms than in October. The interest is there. Yes, at some particular point, we're going to continue to expand, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
But that also means that there are going to be people that are going to be coming out to the 48-hour film project because they're going to say, okay, these are some of the same people that are doing this. These are local folks. I want to get involved in the project. There are people that are going to do winter film. It really will cascade. In a convention setting, we got people coming from all over the country. Okay, which is good. It's good. Keep in mind, this is our Taylor Swift concert. Okay, this is for all intents and purposes. But the key is not necessarily in the conventions, and we have them twice a year as far as the growth. The key is being able to get those folks that are local folks to come out on a Friday night to a BC3 event, to come out to a screening at the Marymount or RJ Cinema or things like that, and seeing those same faces and stuff and having that. And even like the local business owners, many of them are giving their cards, getting email lists and stuff and that kind of thing. Getting in these convention settings, that's a good engine to actually get people's information. And when they want to go out, just kind of like, Cincinnati Symphony Orchestra has their patrons and their email list, as far as their season, things that's going on. If we can get people to go to these sites and go to where we're doing our stuff, we're going to have our hometown patrons that are going to do that.
Yeah.
And then so I kind of see this as this is the Broadway Cross America series.
Yep. Yep.
For a lot of creatives, and so yeah, hopefully it will. I can't tell you what state that they're in. As far as numbers are concerned, I can tell you that it is back from the pandemic and it's back with a vengeance. and thank heavens we live in a wonderful capitalistic country, because every creative thing that you will come up with, people will buy.
Oh,
that's true.
People will buy. They're looking for unique, good local stuff, and I've seen some stuff down there. I said, I can't believe you're selling this.
Right.
But good for you.
Yeah,
good for
yeah,
this
yeah,
is your
yeah.
genre. This is your take on pop culture, art, film, horror,
Right.
things of that nature.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yep. So what have you seen that as a highlight? That caught your eye, whether it's merch, celebrity, cosplay. What's the highlight for you?
The highlight for me, because I've been doing the workshops now for a few years, is a highlight that in my regular job, and a highlight that you get from doing your workshops. It's seeing young people have that aha moment that they can actually make something and get their imagination and their voice heard.
Okay.
And we're giving them the tools. Okay, that's a highlight for me.
Okay.
The highlight from a convention setting is seeing people that I know being successful. That's exciting, guys. If you would go to a Comic-Con or this, you would go to see this actor that flew in from California. Now you're seeing local actors now setting up booths. You're seeing folks that will come out for a couple of days. We have some folks that are A-list actors from California that are now staying 2 or 3 or 4 days because they like Cincinnati. They like the area.
Yeah.
They've got friends here. They want to go to dinner with, maybe somebody they went to UC with or something like that. The sense of community that is in no way like LA is a highlight on how we're doing here. We're sitting at the top of the 275 loop, but in less than an hour you can get all around Cincinnati here.
You sure can.
And that brings a whole bunch of people in here. So, I guess the two answers: one, the ability for people to be able to put their dreams to screen, and then also the fact that I'm seeing people that I know that are making strides and are getting closer to where they want to go.
Absolutely.
Right place at the right time. What was your highlight thus far?
Man, my highlight definitely has been seeing the amount of people that are passionate about this genre coming together. Like the variety, the rainbow, the spectrum of who you would see here. It's like it breaks all expectations, because sometimes people on the outside may just have a particular envision what they believe a person who likes horror looks like, or their occupation. It's like, I'm pretty sure there's some lawyers here that are high class, high profile, but it's like they'll sit there and dress down and put makeup on and go out there and blend in with everybody else and not even have to worry about their profile, so to speak. They get to be themselves. You know, and it's like we're all here, we're all weird to some degree on the spectrum, and it's like it's okay.
Absolutely. And the other thing I was just thinking as you're saying that is that it also there's a lot of people that we have on the convention circuits and for the actors that are the celebrities that you go, you were in a horror film?
Yeah.
I knew you from Happy Days.
Henry.
Okay. or that kind of thing. But it's a disconnect to the general public that a working actor or working filmmaker, okay, even though they're known for one particular part, they got to eat. So they're going to be doing a lot of independent things. They're going to be doing things throughout their entire career.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, and suddenly this is the type of convention turns people on to things that they have never seen before.
Yep.
I didn't know you were in this 20, 30 years. Now I'm going to see this. Now I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
You know, so that's kind of, you know, neat as far as that's concerned. And you know, I hope 30, 40, 50 years from now we're having a similar conversation.
Oh yeah, we will definitely. I believe that.
You know, and it's I think we will. I'm not quite sure who the pop culture icon of 2025 is going to be, although we have a lot away from the Terrifier movie that came out in December. So,
I know.
So I think that is definitely getting people there. But having full cast ensembles has really boosted the convention numbers. When we had the cast of on the anniversary of what's the Disney movie I'm thinking of?
Disney.
Well, it's owned by Disney. Doug Jones in it.
Disney did a horror film?
Hocus Pocus. Yes, thank you. Hocus Pocus. We had the Hocus Pocus cast out with the kids and everything. That got some major number. I guess people at the convention saying they like getting the ensemble autographs and things.
Yeah.
You know, and
so Terrifier was this year's ensemble.
Terrifier was this year's ensemble. We also had a lot of New Evil Dead here. So yeah, it was that brings out some folks. And in going out to see that, then they wander downstairs and they go, oh my gosh, I can sit and watch premieres of double-digit movies that no one else is going to see.
Yes.
You know, or at least for a year or something, and it gets this distribution.
Right.
You know.
Oh man.
So it's you know, having the Horror Hound Film Festival in the screening room, it really allows. It's like a surprise to other people. They think I'm just going to go to a Comic-Con. You know, I'm going to see so and so, and they go, oh, look at this. I don't have to stand in line.
So is there anything like that? So we were just talking about this. Is there anything like where it's a film festival and a horror con, or does Comic Con have something like this as well, or is this like the first of its kind?
Well, many years ago, the Comic Expo tried this with a few different film festivals in Cincinnati, and it was it never really kind of glued together. This is a model that I think is something that I've seen a couple of them similar in California, New York, and stuff.
Okay.
It's hard to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the reason I say it's hard to do is because you really have to look at. It makes sense to us because we're filmmakers.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
But the person who might have an encyclopedia knowledge on this is actually Justin. I'm looking right at him right now. Well, if you want to wander over here in this microphone, we can talk about this because this really speaks to how we're turning the fans into filmmakers and vice versa, breaking down those barriers. So, if we want to scoot down there, and I'll put you in here, and then before I had to go back downstairs and get ready to script reads. So the question is. I'll put the ears on you here so you can hear. Can you hear now?
Yes.
All right, this is yours here. Good deal. The question is,
You have to scoot that bad boy back.
known conventions that you know of that have a film festival and a comic-esque convention married together like this?
Honestly, nothing would come to mind.
No.
It's very unique.
It's a very unique thing.
It's basically a Midwest thing that was created by Horror Hound.
Right.
Okay.
And Horror Hound, the whole idea was created between two cousins.
Right.
And they were like, who would we like to hang out with?
Yeah.
And hey, we like film, we like music. Let's put those together.
Yeah.
And then, hey, let's bring in this, let's bring in that. And most conventions, they kind of have like a decade of life, and then they kind of fade away.
They were saying 20, how many years now?
Yeah, it's going on the 20th. I believe.
20 years of this. And I remember back in like 2008 or something, I think it was the first time I went there. It was a completely different convention, and there wasn't a film component of it.
Well, you have to,
but
adapt.
It did adapt, and a lot of it, I think, adapted because, even back, I remember back in the '90s, there was it was the old Star Trek convention model, and there were Hollywood actors that were regular Hollywood actors that they didn't have anything to do with fans, and then the cast of Star Trek came out. And they were having these huge conventions, and they were finding out that even after they retired, even if they weren't in episodes, they were actually making money selling the merchandise, selling this, their autographs, and things of that nature. And then it finally got caught on 2 different places around the country, and then you start with your Los Angeles Comic-Con and things like that, and then they finally say, okay, this model does work, because there was this disconnect. Are you a Hollywood actor, or are you or that's
So
away from the public?
Films? Are you in
films? Are you in
retired?
television? But there was that layer, that buffer, the general public. And now that we've kind of glued this together into a con setting, the first step was making Hollywood actors know, because I know a lot of voice actors and worked with a lot of voice actors over the years, and there's a few of them that were reluctant to go to a comic convention. One, because being a voice actor is a very solitary thing. You're at home now, okay? You're not dealing with the general public. So there was a level of concern. I don't want all these people knowing who I am. I don't want to have this interaction there. Anybody that does it finally understands, oh hey, this is another way to get my brand out. This is a revenue stream. This is a way for me to be able to connect with my audience.
I even have a story for that.
Yeah.
A couple of guests that we have. First you have to realize that as fans, we look at them as that person they portrayed in our favorite film.
Mm-hmm.
But beyond that, they're a normal person that has to pay bills, or help out family, or help out their community. And I've seen actresses come and do shows because their daughter's getting married and they want to pay for the wedding.
Absolutely.
And it means 2 years from that point forward, there's going to be a wedding, and they're just banking that away. They're being that uber parent, that the parent that everybody would love to have.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I think is why we're at this unique perspective, or this crossroads or precipice of a film festival with the convention, where we have the actors from the convention interacting with the independent filmmakers, having these open dialogues about work and casting them. Okay, because now we have this open conversation, and it's to the general public coming in that are cosplaying up as Terrifier, as I see this young little kid over here dressed up as a mini Terrifier. Okay, it's an entertainment. It's a family event to provide entertainment. Okay, for the person that's not interested in going into the art. Now we're at the stage that this convention is the largest film networking event between established filmmakers and actors and independents in the Midwest.
It really is.
It is exactly what this has become. We've seen this now year after year. I remember I had a young, not going to say the names because I don't know if the film's out yet, young filmmaker came from Italy, wanted to have a one-on-one, has been emailing back and forth with one of the celebrities in the convention for about a year. We facilitated them going out and having a Skyline dinner, and they sat and talked, and he's going to fly. He's going to fly. They made a contract flying him to Italy to do his stuff, and it was a dream of his for a number of years. This is not how this is advertised. Yeah,
there's a lot of networking that happens behind the scenes.
But this is an industry networking event for film. If you're a celebrity that's going in the normal convention circuit, you have an opportunity to sit down with 100 filmmakers and producers and production companies that are coming through here, that are local, or some of them coming from all over the world, to actually sit down and have conversations about continuing to get work. And let's be completely honest. If you're a celebrity that is known for a particular franchise, and you're in it like for many of the reasons that we all are, it's paying the bills.
Yeah.
You would much rather get paid the same amount of money to act on screen and create your art than to sign 100 autographs on something that you've done 20, 30 years ago.
Let me ask you this question.
That's where that change is happening, and it's exciting to see the work.
Do celebrities take advantage of that? Or
Oh, yes.
Well, it depends on what type of advantage you mean.
So do they take advantage as far as interacting and networking with independent filmmakers here?
Oh yes.
We've set up a structure for that the last year and a half.
So
2 years.
We'll have like a special event where we bring them together and have the drinks and a meal, and they'll discuss right there. You know, you'll see the future. Let me state this. I've been doing this for quite a while.
Okay.
I've seen people come to these meetings that we have. We introduce each other, and they couldn't really afford to even have a hotel room. That's where they started out as indie filmmakers.
Okay.
Now they're featured guests, and they're on their third franchise.
Signing autographs.
And that's just within from 2016 to now. You're talking 10 years of a hustle.
Yes.
But within that time, they networked with the celebrity guests at the convention. This convention, Spencer and Terrifier.
Yes.
They were here at this convention talking about doing a music video just 2 years ago. That music video is out right now, receiving an award. You name it. So I mean, like,
oh wow,
it's
yeah.
They come in, and when they speak to that celebrity, they take advantage of it. Yes, the advantage is here's somebody that's passionate about you that would love to have you in their feature. And now you get to spend the weekend with them compared to just receiving a phone call and someone being like, hey, I'd love for you to be a part of my film. Now you get to sit in front of the person, see how they interact with people, hear if they're actually genuine. And then those celebrities like, yeah, I'd love to take a chance and work with you. Compared to just talk to my manager and they'll figure it out.
Right. Yeah.
And the thing is, and for those that know, and granted, there are people that are on the comic circuit, and there's a lot of the same companies, that actually have the list of celebrities and stuff for that. There are some that know that this is purely a like another con, as far as signing autographs, being on that, get on that circuit, have these 3 days, have this contract, have this minimum per diem lodging, this many autographs. This is what I can clear this particular time. But now they know they're coming over here. They know that there is a chance that they're actually going to get booked for a film work.
Yeah.
And it's entirely possible. And you and I have talked about projects on this that get the celebrity in here on the weekend and put the production date on it, the front or the back of when they come in, so they can come to Cincinnati, they can get paid to do this, they can go do their thing, and they can, and you can marry these productions. And they got twice a year, it's very easy to do that.
One thing I would like to touch base on, when it comes to the film festival, there's been so many films that have come through that have gotten distribution because of being through Horror Hound.
Oh, really?
And there's been a handful of times, I'm going to drop a company's name right now, but there's been a handful of times that I'm with my family out at Walmart getting our groceries, and I'm like, I'm going to go check out the films. And I can point at least 5 steel books of movies that premiered through Horror.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And I can go, I flip it over, I'm like, hey, I know that guy, I had dinner with him, I had this and that. But it's not because of the place I'm in. Anybody here that's attending could go out to eat within this community at the neighboring hotels.
Yeah.
And those guests will be there having a meal.
Yeah.
Or having a drink, and they're happy to have you come over and be social. It's just, there's always a time and place for that. Is that the correct time? Is it the correct place? If they're enjoying privacy, provide that privacy, But like, they still want to connect with the fans all weekend long. And the ones that come to the conventions, they truly come to connect with the fans.
Okay.
But there's always, their expenses.
And the flip side of that, now they're learning over the last few years, they're connecting with the fans, but they're now also connecting with people that may be on their creative equal. Okay? They're connecting with directors. They're connecting with other folks.
Podcasts. I've seen. Oh, hey, I remember I listened to you before I, got here. Hey, I'd love to do an interview. I've heard it's the opposite. Instead of hey, I'm starting out, I would love to have. It's like
hey, I've heard your podcast. My kid listens to your podcast. Yeah. I'll be honest.
Oh, I've seen it multiple times.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's so there's a lot of appreciation, and now that media has become so accessible for this younger generation. It's less a conversation of I want to go to Hollywood, less a conversation of I want to see this star. I think we're starting a good conversation of we want to have a mature conversation about how can we use this technology to put your message out and things like that. You've got to create a medium, where you do that.
I believe what you guys have here is what I call kindling, okay? And what the kindling is everybody has this like spark within them.
Yes.
Okay? And you find that spark and you provide a platform, which is the kindling, which makes it bright enough and burn bright enough that other people are now recognizing.
Yeah.
And because you guys are doing that, it's just going to, produce growth. Okay. You're going to have more viewers. You're going to have more fans. Your fans are going to be the ones that are wanting to interview. It's happening.
Yeah.
It is happening. And currently, I'm speaking to someone that's watching right now that's going, yeah, I need to reach out to him. So
okay.
You guys have something.
They've got that studio up in Blue Ash where where Bernard has for a very, very modest rental fee for multiple fully edited episodes.
Yeah.
That it's modular, and he's using it for his podcast, but you can turn it anything you want. We had a lady down there. We were talking the other day in a script reading. I said, yes, ma'am, you could use that for a podcast on quilt making if you want to.
Yeah, absolutely.
You want to have a bunch of people talking about making quilts on a podcast? You absolutely can get out your audience there.
I instantly was thinking of an SNL skit that they had.
Right,
I'm like, that Pete Sweaty.
Ah, yes, yeah.
I was thinking like that was almost like a podcast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's probably where hey, if they're listening now, there's a skit for you. Anyways,
yes.
I have to run. I'm gonna hand these back to you.
Justin, good to see you.
Good seeing you guys.
Appreciate it.
I'll be around.
And I'm probably gonna head on out here and.